Guys, let's let some people populate in here. All right, who we got popping in here? We got Brady, we got Matteo, and Nola. What's up, guys? All right, we're gonna wait for some people to populate in here. Just finished watching one of your videos. Oh, nice. Which one? What's up, Butterfly? How's it going? MTS, what's up? Which video did you get? I just finished, I just released one like 20 minutes ago. It was that Cessna that just got flipped over or actually the beginning of this year by Rotor Wash. One of my favorite moments from flight training. Have I ever done a scud run? No, never. Favorite moments from flight training was probably finishing my commercial cross country. I went from Ontario down to Silver Springs, which is right outside of Reno, Nevada. So it was like a 300 something nautical mile trip. Total, round trip was like 630 or something like that. So it was a long one. And I was in that Cessna for like 7 hours. And you're just flying over desolate desert for the entire time. You might as well be flying over the ocean at that point, to be honest. Oh yeah, the Cessna from the Rotor Wash. Yeah, that was crazy. Crazy. All right, where are you guys from? Where's everyone coming in from? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and answer any questions that you guys may have about PPL training, instrument training, commercial even. If you guys need tips on maneuvers, like how to perform maneuvers better, then I can answer your questions. Like yesterday I did a live stream and people were asking me about how to perform better stalls. And somebody on there said yesterday that the turn coordinator was like a bad Fort Lauderdale, currently finishing up CFI. Nice. Fort Lauderdale. Where's Fort Lauderdale? Is that Florida? Texas? How am I feeling today? I'm not feeling too amazing. I'm recovering from a sickness, but other than that, not bad. I also been bored out of my mind because I have not been able to fly for weeks. So I think I've gotten in the past month maybe 5 hours of flight time. Oh, what's up, Bailey? Look at that. It's nice, huh? It's like changed my game, I'm telling you. Can you have a shout out, please? I have 1 hour of long cross country and 3 hour review for PPL out of KLVM. Weather always sucks. KLVM, where is that? What is that, Las Vegas or something? It's Florida, 20 miles from Miami. Nice. I'd imagine the flying there is pretty good. What's up, Tamil? Livingston, Montana. Oh, nice. I've been trying to do a cross country to Montana for so long. And yeah, it's the weather always sucks going there. Lowest hour solo you've had, meaning what was the shortest time I ever got my students to solo in? 21 hours. Yep. 4:30, what is it, 4:30 a.m. in India? What part of India are you from? Are you pilot in India? But yeah, the lowest hour, I've gotten a student to solo 21 hours, but I could probably do it sooner. But attached to my school, it's hard because of maintenance and there's a lot of people sharing planes and stuff like that. Good morning, Tamil. Is that how you say your name? Yeah, I'm assuming. All right. What questions do you guys have for me? You can ask me. Now's your chance. I'm going to be on here until about 5 o'clock. I have a mock check ride to pick up with a student at 6, and we're going to be doing a mock check ride for about 2 hours. So I figured I'd just come on here first and talk to you guys, answer any questions you guys may have about flight training. You can ask me about my training experiences, certain ways I do things. You can ask me questions about your CFI. What you want a shout out? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Do you want to shout? Like, do you want me just to say this is a shout out to Tyler Brown? You going to record the mock check ride? You know what? That's not a bad idea. I've never thought about doing that before. What I'll probably do is that I won't just ask them if I can record it. I will give them a discount. I'll say, hey, if you let me record your mock check ride, I'll give you like $10 off or something, and I could post it to my YouTube channel. I think that would be really good. I think it'd be really good to do. That's a good idea. I like that. All right, Tyler Brown, this is your shout out. I'm giving you a shout out officially as of 4:06 p.m. Can I get a mock check ride for a discount? Are you saying that you want to do a mock check ride with me and then to have it recorded and then we can post it no matter how bad you do? I think that's the one thing that everyone's afraid of, is that they're afraid of getting their mock check ride recorded and then they do bad and then everyone just roasts them. But yeah, if you want, you could do a mock check ride. Check out what I got now, guys. I finally acquired a pair of flying eyes. Where am I based out of? Boise. You guys heard of these? Woo! Oh my God, Bailey. Wow, thank you. A super chat. You're my first super chat ever. That is amazing. $10 too. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's so awesome. I've never gotten a super chat before, so I didn't even know what that was when it popped up. I was like, is someone asking for money? Isn't that terrible? That's where my brain goes. I'm like, did someone just ask me for $10? Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate it. The super chats are always appreciated. CFIs, we don't make a lot of money. That's for sure. But yeah, I got a pair of flying eyes. And I like them so far. I'm going to do a product review on it pretty soon here. I actually just got sponsored by them. I'm not even joking. That's where my brain went. Do I play Lego? No, I don't play Lego. But I like Legos. I used to play Warhammer 40K, and I used to paint miniatures. But then I don't have time. I need help doing my first flight plan. How long would it take to walk you through it? We'd need at least 2 hours. Yeah. What's up, Speeda? I failed PPL flight test. Practical advice for getting back into things. Did you fail your check ride? Is that what you're saying? Oh, Spokane, nice. I'd like to be the guy you use as a warning to all other students. Is anyone here, are you guys interested in doing a mock check ride with me? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe what I'll do is that I will do mock check rides, and then if you let me record it, I'll discount you. But what I do is I just pretend like I'm a DPE. So, yeah, was it the actual oral or was it the flight? That's what I want to know. What did you actually fail on? Do I play Fortnite? No, I don't play Fortnite, but I did play Overwatch for a long time. And now when I do play video games, I just play like League of Legends. Overwatch, League of Legends. I want to play Marvel Rivals, but I just don't have time to play video games right now. Yeah, Donnie, let's hear what you failed on. Okay, message me if you guys want to do a mock check ride with me. Message me at cfimondon@gmail.com. I got one tonight, one tomorrow, and then I have one scheduled for January 5th. How do you make ground lessons more fun, specifically weight and balance and cross-country planning? Well, I don't know if I can really make them fun per se, but what I can do is I can make them more interesting by tying them to scenarios. So it's really easy as a CFI to get caught up in kind of just reciting PowerPoints. But if you could tie it back to scenarios, I think it makes it more fun. Like, I don't know, I have enough experience now to Give them like anecdotes, like this is why you check for NOTAMs, because the taxiway might be closed and you don't want to land on the opposite runway. That's happened. So I don't know. I don't think I can make them like fun, like yee yippee. Perhaps you can do a lesson right now on sectional chart. I don't know how I would do that with this setup. I don't know. Do you have any questions specific to sectional charts? I think I need to make a video on it, honestly. Red Pill Media. I think I just need to make a video on it. I actually think I have a video. Go into my playlist and look up ground lessons, and I think I have a video about sectional chart stuff. But I bet you I can do it better now that I have like a better microphone and stuff like that. It's too complicated for me to read. Yeah, there's a lot of good videos on sectional charts, but I know I have one. I'll make another one. But yeah. A good example of NOTAMs in Coeur d'Alene randomly getting a temporary tower. What? Really? I didn't know that. Coeur d'Alene got a temporary tower? How to teach illusions, ice flags. Let's see if I do I remember ice flags? Inversion. No, not inversion. Coriolis, elevator, leans, autosomatographic, graveyard, spin, and spiral. Is that right? It's been a while since I've taught ice flags. But what I do is I can teach my student a certain type of illusion by spinning them in a plane or spinning them in a chair like this over and over and over and over and over again, and with their eyes closed. And then I have their thumbs up, and they're supposed to tell me when they think that they're still turning or which direction they're turning. And I'll go like this a bunch of times. And then it's fun because they'll point like this, but they're actually turning the opposite way. Let me see. I dropped in altitudes during steep turns. There was bad turbulence. I had issues keeping up within plus or minus on the cross country. Wait, what? You didn't do a cross country for your private pilot exam, did you, for your check ride? Did not know what to look at in terms of that weather because visibility, clouds, and winds were actually really good on the METAR. I passed the oral, but I'm super nervous to get back into it. So what did you actually, like, what did the DPE say that you failed on? Where are you located in America? The mock cross-country fly heading and altitude and speed, probably. So when people say look at the end of the runway, that really doesn't help. What they really should say is look more towards the end of the runway, because when I'm flying with you and I'm in the right seat and you're coming in for a landing, I just want your eyes not to be like looking straight down. I need you to be looking more forward. So don't think of it as literally looking at the end of the runway, just looking more ahead of the nose. Okay? How to teach landing other than nailing the pattern. Be more specific. Tell me what you're having. What are you guys having problems with in regards to landing? Are you landing too hard? Are you not understanding power? How do you actually teach them how to know when to flare? So I have a strict rule when it comes to teaching where I'm not going to sit there and babysit you on when to flare. I want you to feel that out for yourself. So I push the envelope a little bit with my students and I let them get to really bad points in landing so that they can feel what a side-loaded landing feels like, what a hard landing feels like, with all within safety standards. But to answer your question, how do I teach them how to know when to flare? That's something that they got to figure out on their own. And I'll give them hints like, okay, I'll tell them when you're about 5, 6, 7 feet above the ground, go ahead and start really pulling back that back pressure, reducing that power. But that's just something that comes with repetition. And if you have a good CFI, that CFI will let you hit it over and over again. The only thing I'll say to my students is back pressure, back pressure, back pressure. So yeah, just you need more repetition. But it's really hard to sit there and teach you how to know when to flare, because that comes from you just doing it over and over and over again until you finally get it. Because you need to connect the neurons to that point, that moment where you flare. But me just telling you, okay, time to flare every single time, it's not gonna work. That works for like a brand new student for the first 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, but These like 25, 30-hour plus students who don't know how to land, they just need to learn and fail over and over again. Do I know what the Casper test is? No, I've never heard of that. Failure is the best teacher, yes. I'm pretty hands off with my students when it comes to flying. The only time I ever put my hands on the flight controls, which is often, don't get me wrong, is when they're about to like destroy the plane. And I will let that ride out until the very last second, almost every single time. Because you need to know, sometimes you need to know what the right thing is by doing the wrong thing. Have you ever had a student you thought technically is ready to solo and performing fine, but something still give you hesitation to endorse them? No, not yet. Whenever I endorse a student for a solo or a cross country, I know that they're ready. I work in maintenance, I'm okay. Yeah, I've never regretted signing off a student for. I will not sign off a student if they're dangerous. I think what normally makes me hesitate, if I do hesitate, is their attitudes. If they say things that are like, for example, I had a student this one time that was wanting to do a cross country to the east, and the student was like, yeah, the ceilings aren't that bad. They're like 1,000 feet. And I'm like, 1,000 feet? You like that's a tiny window to operate in. 1,000 feet AGL. You're gonna do a cross country for 3 hours in ceilings that are 1,000 feet overcast. Is it doable? Sure. You're kind of pushing some envelopes there. In fact, if you're flying over a congested area, I mean, you're right at that limit. That doesn't even include terrain or the possibility of the ceilings dropping. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've had students like say things to me, or I'm like, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" And it's usually that type of attitude, like the hazardous attitudes, that make me more concerned. Um, yeah. Ever had a student fail a check ride? No, not yet. I have a 100% pass rate right now. Opinion on flying behind the power curve? Can you be more specific? Do you feel that P factor is prominent on rotation? Yes. That brief moment where the nose is up, but the mains are still down. I feel like I can. Sorry, I just got an email from one of you guys. Where the nose is up, but the mains are still down. I feel like I can definitely feel P factor just recently noticed it. Yeah, so you'll notice P factor at this point when you're coming in for like a landing and you do a go around or a rotation, and then nose comes up. You'll start to feel that P factor kick in where the descending blade takes a bigger bite of the air than the ascending blade, and that causes adverse yaw. So yeah, to answer your question, when you go to rotate like this, you're going to need to put in that opposite rudder in order to counter for that adverse yaw that is coming from P factor. They say that P factor is most often felt in tail wheels and when you rotate. How old are you and you plan on going to the airlines? I'm 31 and I probably will go to the airlines eventually, but right now I'm just enjoying being a flight instructor. Slow approach for stall flying. Oh, I mean, if you have a plane for it and you can do it, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's when students are behind the power curve and they don't even know what the power curve is. That's when a problem occurs. Oh, tail wheel. I want a tail wheel endorsement so bad. Oh, you guys should check out this guy right here. The guy that said tail wheel endorsement changed my life. He makes some of the best videos I've ever seen on YouTube. Man, I want a tail wheel so bad. I got an offering to do a tail wheel endorsement. It's going to cost me like $2,000 and I just can't afford it right now. He wants to do like 10 hours, I think. It's like $200 an hour, and I would love to do it. I heard that tail wheel flying changes you. It like changes the way you fly, and it just makes people such better pilots. My dad is a CFI, and he trained me up in a little champ one time when landing. I didn't really flare, bounced, pulled back even more. He immediately grabbed the flight controls and regained a landing attitude. Afterwards, he made sure I realized how scary it was and made sure I would remember how dangerous it was. And I have never done it since. Do you do that with your students if they do something dangerous? Yeah, I have students. I mean, guys, like I'm flying with 5, 6, 7 people a day. Most of my students are like below 20 hours, so I'm constantly. That is like an everyday experience for me. Bouncing, floating back up. They pull up. I have to push down. go around, botch go arounds, botch landings. Yeah, I've experienced it all at this point. Well, I don't want to say that. I'm sure there's more students can throw at me at this point. But yeah, I will emphasize. I'm like, do you know how dangerous that was? Did you know that if you would pitched up like 2 degrees higher, that you could induce a stall? I came across an independent CFI that owns his own Cessna 182 complex, 320 horsepower. Damn. He mentions it is okay for PPL training. What do you think? Should I stick to the 172 initial training? Yeah, I would probably stick to the Cessna 172. Yes, I'm in the USA. I didn't keep within the 100 foot. So what were you like 101 feet below and he just nailed you for that or what? Because I mean, most DPs will give you some leeway. Yes, I'm in the USA. I didn't keep within 100 feet during the steep turns and went too low. We started the flight with pretending we were going on a cross country. Oh, okay, okay. How many hours are you at, Donnie? How do you deal with apprehension? I definitely had one of those moments during my third solo. Just looked down and realized how big of a deal flying is. Mine started running away. Yeah, it doesn't hit me as hard anymore, but I remember being a solo student and I was like doing my solo and I looked down, I'm like, woof, I can't believe I'm flying a plane right now. This is so unnatural. Because flying is it's a pretty new phenomenon for humans. And there's like this lizard part of your brain that doesn't like being up in the air. All of a sudden you look down, you're like, oh shit, this is a big deal. You know what I mean? But you just get over that with time. And the more hours you get, that feeling goes away. Wait time for DPE is a million years. Yeah, it's not bad where I'm at right now. It's like 2.5 weeks, but I've seen it go up to like 2 months before. So yeah. I saw someone, hold, let me read you guys' I'm kind of getting behind here on the comments. Just joined, love the videos. What advice for a student who is just starting and wants to be as economical as possible, written done? Yes, I created a video on this. If you want to be like, I'm sure, so you want to save money. I think losing money in aviation comes from not maintaining that proficiency. And the best way to maintain proficiency and to stay current and keep up to date with your flows is by chair flying. You could save a lot of money by chair flying. Yep. And being consistent. Don't let yourself fall behind. It was 150, but I was not keeping constant on that cross country, so I think that factored into it. Any advice for picking the weather on that ride day too? Don't want to cherry pick the day. I think you need more. I need to know how many hours you have. Because it sounds like you just need more experience, to be honest. Because you said something, you said that it was a pretty turbulent day and that you had a problem maintaining your altitude. Despite unless it's like a phenomenal, unless it's an incredibly turbulent day, you should have almost no problem maintaining that standard, even with turbulence. Buying an aircraft when? I don't know. It depends on how well my private instruction goes. Glad you're doing this, man. Keep it going with your videos. Just us later on the Midlife Pilot podcast in the chat. We live stream at 8 Central here on YouTube's nice. Around 60, but I took some time off for medical things. It was a very bad day. Never had the same feeling during training. Yeah, it sounds like you needed to, I don't know you and I don't know your experience, but it sounded like you probably went into it a little bit rusty or not as proficient as you could have been. You know what I mean? Let me pull this up real quick. I'm still here. I'm just researching something real quick. All right, let me read this. Around 60. Oh yeah, I already read that. I bought an airplane as a student pilot. I thought it was a great decision. Was it? I heard some good things about that. DPEs usually don't fail you for one thing, to be honest. Usually it's something like marginal ground knowledge and bad steep turns. I've never known. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. I first soloed when I was 14 in gliders. I had that feeling when landing, but, oh, I see. Do, 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 do. I have that song stuck in my head, Apata. I cannot stand that song. I'm sorry. Apata, 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 apata. How old am I? 31. I started flight training pretty late compared to like a lot of my students. There are a lot of my students. I mean, I have some older guys. I have a student that's like 60. So I guess I'm not that old, but a lot of my students are like 18-year-olds. Bought it for $45K and sold it for $75K. Nice. Are you planning on moving up to the airlines? Eventually, yeah. Eventually. Right now, I'm just focusing on being a flight instructor and just building hours and experience. And then eventually I'll go to the airlines. I'd rather go corporate. I think it was holding altitude and the steep turns. Donnie, I'm even wondering how is your trim? Do you understand trim? And do you feel like you're good at trimming the aircraft? Because if you're having problems holding the aircraft at altitude in steep turns and in level flight, that tells me that you might be getting beat up by trim a little bit and you're not trimming properly, or you're just getting distracted and you're just not scanning your instruments properly and forgetting to include your altimeter in your scan. Oh, hold on. Let me catch up. Should I memorize every acronym for the CFI check ride? Which, are you talking about every aviation acronym ever? Which acronyms? Also, is Silverhawk now fully out of Oregon now? You mean out as in not there anymore? Yes, they're not there anymore. Bit of a long one here, but please answer. I just hit 40 hours and during my cross country when I was 35 and cursing. You're cursing? I'm just kidding. Departure came on and told me to switch to 0.625. I was confused because I am used to 5 number frequencies, and not 3. I told him I did not know what that meant, and he told me just to stay with him and not switch. I asked my CFI after, and he did not know what it was, giving 3 numbers instead of 5. I later asked my dad, who flies a Gulfstream for a corporate company, and uncle in Southwest, and they did not even know why 3 instead of 5. Yeah, so they do that because they abbreviate the frequencies. So let me give you an example. They're not supposed to do that. That's non-standard communication. But I've noticed a trend with ATC where they'll do that. Let me open this up. I was going to give you an example here. So I know you can't see this, but it's okay. You don't need to. Okay, so Boise approach frequency is 119.6. Okay, well, there'll always be a 1 in front of your frequency. So what he's probably doing is he knows that you already know that it's like, instead of saying 126.9, they'll just say 269. Or they'll say 26.9 because the 1 is implied. So he's abbreviating the frequency, which he's not supposed to do. And he's turning it into a 3-digit or 4-digit frequency instead of a 5. He's supposed to say 126.9er, but he's just abbreviating it. But yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong if there's any ATC guys in here, but that's what I remember. Okay, hello from Idaho. Could you give me some advice for memorizing eight tomato flames? Yeah, don't. Yeah, don't memorize it. Why do you need to memorize eight tomato flames? Let me tell you what's going to happen if you go to your check ride and your DP asks you, hey, what are the daytime required equipment for this aircraft? And you're like, this is my moment. Eight tomato flames, airspeed indicator, tachometer. And you're just sitting there like, reciting. Your DP is going to be like, stop. What's the rig? Just tell me the rig. And just tell them the rig, 91-205 or 91-213, depending on how the question is phrased. But yeah, you don't need to sit there. Does it help to memorize it? Sure. But do you need to memorize it? No. That's my personal advice for that. Just know where to find it. Tab it out in your FAR aim. Eight tomato flames, 91-205. What planes did they end up leaving you with? 9 Sierra Papa, 6-2 Quebec. No, not 5-5 Echo. Screw that plane. What can I remember? There's a carbureted one in there. Oh, 1-5 Delta. And 5 Sierra Victor. Have I ever done a tower tour? Yes, I have. Yeah, exactly. So Nola said the same thing. Just know the FAR instead of eight tomato flames. Yeah, I definitely will look into my scan. I don't have a problem during training and in straight level flight. I don't use them in steep turns. I know how to, but I don't. Okay, but you know how to trim though. Steep turns helps to add power and trim back. Yeah, some students I have them trim on steep turns, others I don't. Yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator is great for keeping you proficient. Oh yeah, trim helps immensely. It's like all of a sudden get two brains being, yeah. 2-3 Lima, it's still just sitting there. It's still still sitting there outside. Rip. I don't know if they're gonna fix it. They said that they're going to, but we'll see. First solo next week. Any tips? No, I don't have any tips for your first solo. If your CFI says you're ready, you're probably ready. Just understand that your CFI knows that you're ready to go, and I think that's good enough. The training will take over. An avocado fire? Never heard of that. How many hours do I have? 520. Last time I tallied up my logbook, which I have it right here. But I have 200 and something hours dual given. I think I'm coming up on 250 hours dual given. So yeah, here's my last tally up. 501. And then I have another page that I haven't tallied up either. So I'm probably pushing past 520. Not bad. Okay, let me catch up. What was all the damage that ended up happening? I saw was the flap support brackets. Yeah, the flap support brackets were broken in. The firewall, like the panel, was ripped off, and JT said that the damage alone from the panel is like 10 grand. But I don't know if that's true. But yeah, the panel was damaged, and then the flap brackets were broken. Wait, you mean I'm supposed to read the FAR aim and not just use it as toilet paper? IFR first 100%. Oh, I'm missing some stuff. Congrats on 500. Thank you. I appreciate that. Still waiting on my god dang multi-engine check ride. I did the oral portion like a week ago, and the weather sucks. So I'm still waiting for the flight portion. What did teaching BAIF look like in your CFI check ride? What's BAIF? BAIF? I've never heard of BAIF. The panel's already way broken, so flat bracket. Yeah, I can show you a picture of it. I can send you a picture of it. You probably know what it looks like already. But yeah, it's 2.3 limo still sitting out there. Am I missing some questions? Oh, I know it's you. I remember your account. Sam one time told me, he's like, did you know that he owns this account? And I was like, what? That's who was commenting on my YouTube? Basic attitudes on instrument flight. I don't know if you took it according to the ACS. What do you mean? Hello, I'm trying to figure out my options. Do you recommend going to uni 4-year degree program in aviation management, including flight training commercial, or do I take private school? I don't know. It's hard to answer. I think there's a benefit, especially these days, now that the market's getting more competitive, to have that degree. However, if you go private, you're probably going to finish flight school faster. But I don't know. Every person that's come out of a 4-year university program, they were like studs. So, what's your take on accelerated PPL for people that already have flight time previously? Accelerate? Are you talking about like a accelerated flight program, like the ATP? Yeah, thank you, man. I like this new microphone a lot. Hey, Munden, old dog working on CFI. Estimated time I should hold myself to. What do you mean? Like in regards to how long it's going to take you to get your 1,500 hours, or how many hours you should work per day? Okay, Donnie, I'll talk to you later. Oh, how old was I when I started flight training? 27. I'm 31 now. I don't know if I believe in accelerated programs. I want to truly understand however long it takes. I don't know. There are certain accelerated flight programs that just make the shittiest pilots ever, in my opinion. But the 4-year programs, like my lead flight instructor, she went to a 4-year program out of North Dakota, and she is amazing. And then I have another coworker who he went through a 4-year, and he's really good too. So I don't know. These 4-year programs, every pilot that I've met from these 4-year programs, they seem like they're pretty good. So what happened with the nose wheel stuff? Did they not hassle? No, they didn't hassle me on it. It was just replaced. Yeah, I can talk to you about it more on WhatsApp. All right, guys. I got about 15 more minutes on here. Give me your questions, and we'll call it. I got to make some sectional chart. I'll make some sectional chart videos for you guys. What's a good goal to set as far as the timeline it goes for getting your PPL to stay proficient? 6 months, a year more? Should I fly multiple times a week? Yeah, so I always recommend that you should fly at least 2 times a week, preferably 3 times a week in order to maintain that proficiency. Depending on if you're going through a school, what kind of school you're going through, I would say that you can expect to get your PPL in as little as 3 months if you're a stud and you have a great flight school and a great plane and you don't have to fight for planes and maintenance and all stuff like that. But on average, it takes probably about 6 to 9 months to get your PPL. But that really depends on where you live and the weather and how good your maintenance is on your aircraft and how many people are fighting. Like where I go to school, the average for PPL is like a year and 2 months. It's a lot because we have a lot of people at the school. We have a lot of people fighting for planes. But now that I'm moving more towards flight instruction, I think I can get my private students done with their private pilot check rides in like 4 months. Yeah. But that's assuming that they're flying a lot. Like I'm pretty hard on my private students. If you're going to fly with me, you're flying at least 3 times a week. Just because I don't like it when people come in and they only fly 1 week a month or sorry, 1 day a month, because every time they come in, they're like a brand new student. Because how can you possibly maintain proficiency when you only fly once or twice a month? What's your CFI to plane ratio at the school? I would say, well, I can tell you that for every like 25 students, we have 1 plane. Wish I lived in Idaho. What state do you live in? Yeah, I wish you guys lived in Idaho because I train a lot of you guys up. When taking off in a crosswind, is it better to use rudder for the first feet after rotation instead of rolling the wing? Well, if you have a crosswind, let's say I have a crosswind in here, generally I'm going to keep that aileron into the wing while simultaneously applying that opposite rudder. So you're not doing one or the other, you're kind of just doing both at the same time. You see what I mean? So it looks like this. Left aileron, right, if the wind's coming from this way, left aileron, right rudder, all right? And then as you rotate, slowly bring it forward, level, and then rotate, and you got to put that wing back into the wind. So it's like, you just have to feel it out. Ohio? I think Ohio's like super far from me, isn't it? In your experience, how much can you reference from the FAR aim during a check ride? I am finding a way to memorize IFR reporting items. My instructor said those are memory items. How many times can you use the FAR aim? I would say at least once or twice. Anything more than that, I think you're going to raise some red flags in your CFI's eyes. Are instructors fighting for planes too? Yes. Yeah, we're booked out like 2 months. Yep. We're fighting for planes. CFIs are always fighting for planes. Hey, Munden, what's your number one area of deficiency you tend to see PPL students, and how do you address teach around it? I used to teach, but usually doing IFR CPL, so not much PPL work. Okay, number one area of deficiency, I would just say landings. I would say landings for PPL students is what they normally struggle with. Maneuvers are pretty easy. I mean, if you got a flow down, the maneuvers are easy, but it's landings. And I just approached that deficiency by just doing it over and over and over again until it eventually clicks and they get it. So just repetition. But yeah, landings, and I just hit them hard over and over and over again. You got to remember, I'm picking up students from hour 0. All my students that I get, almost all, like 80%, are from hour 0. So I'm seeing them from when they first start to when they finish. And yeah, landings, they always struggle with landings. I have a few studs that just get it instantly somehow. I don't know why, but I am in Idaho. Which part of Idaho? What's the time frame for instrument rating? I tell people usually about 6 months. Give yourself 6 months. I did mine in 4.5. Hi, Munden, got a CFI cert last month. Any tips for getting a job? Finding a job for CFIs, man, it's tough. It's an oversaturated market right now. Very oversaturated. But yeah, just distinguish your resume, make it look different from other people. Get some volunteer work in like Silver Air Patrol or something. Yeah, distinguish yourself, separate yourself from everyone else that's putting in a resume. Create a nice resume that's tailored to aviation. Advice for a first-time navlog? Yes, understand deviation. Make sure you know how to use the back of the E6B, the whiz wheel, and keep your points 20 nautical miles apart from each other. And yeah, I think that's about it. Navlogs aren't that hard. When you see an issue in your own flying, how do you address it? How do I address issues in my own flying? Well, I take it really personally because I'm teaching people. So if I'm like, ooh, this is bad. I remember, I had an instructor who used to be afraid of crosswinds. So we would never go up on crosswind days. And it really screwed me up because when I got to my commercial rating, I had another instructor and he loved doing crosswinds. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not very good at crosswinds. And he's like, why? I'm like, because my other instructor refused to go up in crosswinds. So when I find a deficiency in my own flying, I hit that hard and I hit it over and over again until I get it down. I think crosswinds, like a lot of people are afraid of them, but they're not that bad. What's your goal, SkyWest? I don't know because I don't know. They make you sign a 5-year contract now, and I'm not. I already did 9 years in the military. I signed 2 contracts. Like something about signing another contract. I don't know. A 5-year contract. Come on. 2 years I'll sign, but 5. You better give me a huge bonus. Better be like a 6-figure bonus. I have 850 to 1,000 hours in which I have restricted ATP by age 22. Nice. Very good. In fall, I'm starting with a university with a top flight school and multiple airline partnerships. I'm going to have my, oh, I see. Have my PPL next month. I'm almost 18. Do you think it's unrealistic me to have 850 to 1,000 hours? No, I don't think it's unrealistic. I've seen it done before. Now, let me read your comment, Damon. Are you keeping the aileron deflection in during the takeoff roll, or are you slowly taking it back and putting it? So this is what it looks like. If we're taking off, all right, and the wind's coming from this way, I'm having that deflection into the wind. And as I get closer to my rotate speed, I'm slowly taking out that correction to when I rotate, I'm wings level. And then I rotate, and then I put the aileron correction, just what I need, back into the wind. Okay, so it looks like this. Full power, aileron correction in, pretend like the yoke is in my hand, aileron correction in, and then I'm looking at my airspeed indicator, it's slowly getting to my rotation speed. Oh, there's 55 knots, pull back, nice smooth rotation, put the correction back in. That's what it looks like. Because you have to put that correction back in. Yeah, the contract sucks. You going to pay ATP? See, no, dude, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's a few regionals out there without contracts. Oh, I didn't know that. Biggest concern, I honestly don't know how aviation will pan out. Will I be a good CFI? Will I have a hard time getting a job? Will I have a hard time getting a job after CFI? Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, definitely. They talk about a pilot shortage, and there's a pilot shortage, and they need pilots really bad. I don't think that's true anymore. The hell was that? Something just beeped. Got it. Appreciate the videos. Thanks for being here. Do I teach my students to establish a side slip just before the flare? No. 100 to 200 feet AGL? There's no need. At least not in a Cessna 172. All right, guys. A couple more minutes for questions. I'm going to head out. All right, remember, I'm partnered with Flying Eyes. I'm never going to partner with a brand that I don't like and I don't think they're good. So know that whenever I'm promoting a brand, I actually genuinely like them. If you guys want, you can get a pair of Flying Eyes using my discount code. It's Munton10. These are really great glasses for pilots. Really soft, really bendy, and you really don't feel it under your headset. So check it out. I just got a pair and I'm really happy with them. What is that? I'm talking about when you're in a crosswind. Yeah, it depends on the crosswind, but you're going to keep that correction in as much as you need. There's no set altitude, 100 to 200 feet AGL. You just keep it in as long as you need. What headset do I use? I have Bose A20s. Right here. Airline you hope to fly for? I don't have a specific one right now. Any advice for flight simulator pilots? Any advice? Yeah, get on VATSIM. VATSIM's amazing. I love VATSIM. I used to use Flight Simulator all the time. I just don't have time anymore. What time is it? Okay, I gotta. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 5. What's your opinion on people flying massive patterns in flight schools? It's fucking annoying. It's annoying because then I have to spend more time in the air, which means more time with the engine running, which means it costs more money. So you're supposed to be about halfway up the wing strut when you look out your window, which is about 0.5. And sometimes people are like a mile to a mile and a half away with like the most ridiculous downwinds, the biggest base to finals you can possibly imagine. And then everyone is forced to follow that person because they're the one extending out the pattern. And then before you know it, everyone's flying like a 15-minute long pattern. And it is so stupid. So stupid. I do not let my students fly giant patterns because it's just, first of all, it's unnecessary. And second of all, you need to stay reasonably close to the runway in case you have like an engine out or something. Yeah, I mean, TW, I still think it's a good idea to pursue aviation. 1 mile final from crazy. Do you have a career track at your airport? What do you mean career track? How many hours you got? 520 something. 250 hours dual given. Yeah, 1 mile finals from crazy. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, if you're getting put on a 1 hour, oh, it is from Premium. Is that what it is? If you have a 1 hour or a 1 mile long final, that is insane. That is insane. What do you think of the New Jersey drones? I honestly haven't even looked into it yet. Not gonna lie. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. I gotta go into a ground. Okay, if you guys want private ground lessons or mock check rides or anything like that, you can email me at cfimunden@gmail.com. And what else? Yeah, private grounds. If you guys are in the Boise area, out of Nampa or Caldwell or even Ontario, and if you want private lessons or even a discovery flight, send me an email and we'll get you up. I have like 6 discovery flights next week. I love doing discovery flights. They're a lot of fun. But I have 10 slots open for private. Well, I have 10 total slots for private students, flight students, and I have like 7 filled right now. So I have 3 left. Kind of looking for more instrument students, to be honest, but I'll take whatever. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Remember, email me cfimunden@gmail.com.